Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, back with another live stream. It's another week. The transfer window has actually reopened today, so no more interruptions up until the beginning of September. So a lot of time to get the deals done. Of course, we want the deals done right now as early as possible, but next excuses at the start of the season or at the end of the transfer window, we have a full 3 months to get deals done. So if you're watching this on repeat, on the replay, there's a poll in the chat. I want you guys to comment down below. If you could choose two between these two combinations, which one would you pick? Gyokeres and Nico Williams, or would you get Sesko and Rodrygo? Which combination would you prefer at Arsenal? So just comment down below. If you're already here watching live, the poll is in the chat. Make sure to vote on that. And yeah, we'll be talking about Sesko and Gyokeres as usual. The latest on Nico Williams, the latest on Havertz, Zinchenko, and Lewis Skelly, who has been linked to Real Madrid. Could we end up losing Lewis Skelly this transfer window? Let's get to it. Let's start with the usual. Of course, we're going to talk about Gyokeres and Sesko. It's always on the news every single day. According to Fabrizio, Arsenal are working on both Gyokeres and Sesko deals. However, they will only sign one of them. Meetings are taking place for both before they decide who's the striker they want. The financial factor will be important. So for the people who wanted to sign both Gyokeres and Sesko, yeah, I've always told you guys, I don't think it's possible to sign both. Even if we really wanted both, I don't think any of them would want to come and be a backup to the other when they have an opportunity to go and be a starting striker in any of those other teams that want them. So signing both would be impossible, not just financially, but also from the player sides. I don't think they would want that. But Fabrizio says we are currently discussing with both of them. So we are currently discussing with both Gyokeres and Sesko. I've seen a lot of comments of people saying, why haven't we decided, January we were told we were going to sign a particular player at the end of the transfer window. Why have we not decided yet? Yeah, that is definitely frustrating. But maybe I personally feel like they really wanted, they already made their decision. But what is holding them back is finances. So they're trying to get the cheapest deal possible. And that's just how it is. If they can pay 60 million, they don't feel like they need to pay 70. Let's just wait so that we can pay the 60 million for either of the players. So it's going to take a bit of time for Arsenal to negotiate with both of them, try to push both camps to drop the prices down so that you can actually go for one of them. It's always looked very possible that it's going to be Sesko ever since last transfer window, because we were linked to him since last year, and also in January we were actually trying to sign him in January. At the time we wanted Watkins, so it was looking very possible that it was going to be him this summer transfer window. But with everything with Leipzig going on, all of a sudden it's looking like it might be Gyokeres. But we were told Arsenal feel like Gyokeres' money is too much, his age, and right now he should be going to his prime, Gyokeres. So they feel like Gyokeres will only give us like 2-3 years, and Sesko can give us 9-10 years. All those combinations. Hopefully we do hear something this week, though. The transfer window is now reopened. Hopefully we do hear a breakthrough on either Sesko or Gyokeres, something to, even a bid or, first bid, a second bid, a third bid, official bids from, news from Onstein and Fabrizio saying we've already made a bid and the other team is considering it, something. Hopefully we do something this week and we don't wait until the end of June or something to make a bid or decide who we are going to go for. So, yeah, welcome to the Arsenal transfer window. If you've never been in a part of Arsenal transfer windows, welcome to an Arsenal transfer window. This is what we always go through every single transfer window. So interesting though, Gyokeres and Sesko. I still don't know who you're going to get, to be honest. I'm still going to lean towards 70% Sesko, 30% Gyokeres. These are the players I feel like that's the one I feel like we're going to get eventually. But when, I don't know. Is it tomorrow? Is it at the end of June? Is it at the beginning of July? The preseason doesn't start until preseason games don't start until like 1 month from now, more than 1 month from now. But right now, at the beginning of July, the players will be back, I think, for warm weather training in Spain or something like that. So do they want some of the players to be part of that? Will players like Zubimendi be part of that? Gyokeres and Sesko, we have decided which one you're going to get. I think it's going to, the reason why I didn't get Calafiori early is because of the money. I think it's going to be the same thing with Gyokeres and Sesko. If Sporting want 80 million for Gyokeres, and if Leipzig want the same for Sesko, we are going to have to wait until that money drops down to like 65. Arsenal will try to drop that money down to like 65, and that will take a few weeks. So I don't know if you're going to get a striker right now or you're going to get at the end of June. Hopefully, though, we still end up with one of them, because it would be disastrous if we didn't get any of them at all. That wouldn't be great. We have to get at least one of them. That has to happen. So that's the latest on Gyokeres and Sesko. Of course, last week we were told that Gyokeres wants to join Arsenal, as Fabrizio said last week. Gyokeres always an option, and Sesko talks with no deal still so far. United remain keen. He said Viktor Gyokeres' priority is to join Arsenal. So Viktor Gyokeres' priority is to join Arsenal, but is Arsenal's priority Gyokeres? That is the other thing. Let's go to Nico Williams. What's the latest on him? The winger situation is also still going on as always. According to Sport Witness, Nico Williams is aware that Luis Diaz is Barcelona's priority target and is willing to adapt sportingly and financially and personally to move to the club. Arsenal, meanwhile, are bidding hard for the player and are offering a 9 million net annual salary, which neither Barcelona or Bilbao can match. Williams has asked for time to exhaust all options of joining Barcelona before considering other clubs. Now, I need to check how much that money is per week. 9 million net. So that is after, I think, taxes and everything. But let me just calculate that and see how much that is, because we had that Nico Williams might want to be like the highest paid player at Arsenal when he signs, or if he signs for us. So let's calculate that. 9 million. 9 million. Let's see how much per week that is. 9 million. If this calculator can work as quickly as possible. As we wait for that, so Nico Williams is aware that Luis Diaz is Barcelona's top priority. I've always felt like Nico Williams would want to join Barcelona, but it depends if Barcelona can actually afford him. That's the other thing. So 9 million, that is like 173,000 per week. So even if it's not net, let's say it's something around 200,000 per week or less than that. Yeah, I don't know if Nico Williams would accept that. That's around 180,000 per week. I had Nico Williams would want something like more than 300,000 per week. So for Nico Williams, I'm not confident he's going to be an Arsenal player at all. Not at all. I'm not confident with this one. It might still happen, but I actually feel like Rodrygo has a better chance of joining us than Nico Williams, whether it's because of the wages or it's because of Nico Williams wanting to stay in Spain, all of that. Williams has asked for time to exhaust all options of joining Barcelona before considering other clubs. So the other thing is, are Arsenal willing to wait for Nico Williams up until July, August? I don't think we should be doing that. I don't think Arsenal will do that. I think they'll just tell Nico Williams, if you don't want to join us right now, we're going to go for other players. We need to have our players before preseason. That's just that has to be the case. We cannot be signing players with 1 week to the Premier League season starting or anything like that. No, we have to have players ready. So someone like a Nico Williams, I think his deal would take so much time before he does move away from there. It's not going to be a deal that is going to happen right now. He's going to try and force a move to Barcelona first before deciding. If Barcelona refuse to sign him or are not able to sign him, then he's going to be moving to another team or maybe staying at Bilbao again. Just like Gyokeres, I thought Gyokeres would stay at Sporting, but because of the drama going on there, maybe not. For Nico Williams, again, I'd not be surprised if he stayed at Bilbao for another season. So that's just how it is. I don't think you're going to wait for him, though. Let's talk about Jorel Hato. What's the latest on him? Arsenal and Chelsea have both held talks with Jorel Hato about a summer deal. The player believes Arsenal to be near perfect destination for his next step, but his camp are keen to keep the race open. This is according to Graham Bailey. Now, we already know we want a defender in Jorel Hato. As I said, I think we do need a defender, but not right now. That would be the last signing that I would make after getting a striker, getting a winger, hopefully getting an extra attacking midfielder. And then obviously we need a backup goalkeeper, and then Zubimendi, you obviously count him in that. And then I would go for a defender. The defender doesn't have to cost 60 million, 70 million. I'm happy to even get a defender who's going to cost 15 million or something. Just a cheap backup, because we do have enough defenders. The only problem is the injuries. If we didn't have any injuries, I wouldn't want us to sign defenders. But I'm hoping Calafiori is fit next season. We'll talk about Lewis Skelly here as well. Gabriel hopefully is back and ready for the start of the season. Same with Saliba, same with Timber. Ben White hopefully has another an injury-free season like he used to have before last season. And then Kivio, hopefully he does stay. At the moment, Zinchenko is still here. Looks likely that he'll move on. And then, yeah, we have other players who can also fill those roles. So With the injuries, though, if Calafiori is still injured next season and Gabriel is not fully fit and Timber still has to be rested a few games and, Tomiyasu obviously still out, we will need a defender because I don't want Gabriel and Saliba to be playing every single game. But I don't think it should be the priority to try and push right now to sign a defender. We can sign a defender at the end of July, at the beginning of August, no problem, especially now that Gabriel has signed a new contract. That is good news. And obviously the fact that that Saliba is also being offered a new contract. So we could have both of them signing new contracts, which would be great news. So that's led Sanjarel Hato. Both Arsenal and Chelsea have held talks. How much would he cost? Maybe 30 million or something. Let's see how that one goes. Speaking of defenders, what's the latest on Lewis Skelly? Could we actually end up losing Lewis Skelly? If you lose Lewis Skelly, all of a sudden you need another defender again. Arsenal maintain their confidence, optimism to get Miles Lewis-Skelly new deal done as talks are ready at advanced stages. Arsenal not tried at all by recent links with clubs as is fully expected to stay. So I totally agree with that. I don't see Lewis-Skelly leaving at all. He will sign a new contract. I'm expecting Nwaneri to sign a new contract. I expect Saka to sign a new contract. Gabriel has obviously signed one. I expect Trossard to sign a new contract. I'm not sure what the situation is with Partey and Martinelli and Saliba as well. I would imagine Saliba will stay, obviously, next season. After next season, I don't know. So we have to see whether we're going to give them new contracts. And I don't know what is happening with Partey and Martinelli. Partey has still not yet gotten a new contract, and his contract is expiring in 2 weeks' time. So are we going to see this combination, or are we going to go for another midfielder if Partey leaves? So unless Partey gets a new contract very, very late on. I mean, we've been told that Arsenal have offered Partey a new contract, but we've been told that he's not satisfied with the new contract. So will Partey decide to sign it, or will Arsenal improve the bid or the wages, wherever, or the length of the contract? Will Arsenal just say, no, if you're not signing this, we're going to let you go? We still don't know what is going to happen with Partey. The problem is, though, as I said, I definitely want Partey to stay. Even if I didn't want Partey to stay, the problem is if you let go of Partey right now, we haven't even completed the Zubimendi deal, or we've not announced it yet. We are still trying to push for Gyokeres or Sesko. Signing Rodrygo, Nico Williams will be difficult. There we are. We want a defender. There we are. We still want a goalkeeper. The Kepa news disappeared the last 2 weeks. We still have to sort out contract situations with Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri and Saka. And I mean, that is too much, surely. Again, we'll need to go and get another midfielder if Partey goes. I feel that is too much. I feel like that is too much work. Fabio Vieira, watched him last night playing for FC Porto. What is his future for at Arsenal? Arsenal don't want him. Arsenal don't want to loan him. We want to sell him. Like, that seems like a lot of work to do. I mean, I'd be very impressed. I'm giving Bata time. I mean, I've seen some comments saying Bata is disappointing. He's 2 weeks into the transfer window. We have to give him the whole transfer window to see how he does. If he manages to get everything done in this transfer window, the Gabriel new signing, amazing. That is a very good start. Getting Zubimendi for that kind of money and those many installments, very, very good business. But let's see the rest of the transfer window, because there's a lot to do. There's a lot of new contracts to sort out. There's a lot of players on loan that we need to sort out. A lot of signings that we need to get. Players that are at Arsenal right now, how much money are we going to get for Nelson, for Zinchenko? If Kivio leaves, how much money are you going to get for him? There's so much going on. And players like Lewis Skelly and Saka have to stay. So we have to make sure those players stay for sure. But let's see how it goes. But Lewis Skelly, I'm not worried about Lewis Skelly leaving. He's not going to leave. I'm sure he's going to sign a new contract. I mean, he's too much of a good player to let go right now. I think they get paid like 10,000 per week, him and Nwaneri, or maybe less than that, because they're on like a youngster's contract. And Lewis Skelly is one of our most important players. Last season, there was not too much to celebrate, obviously. Having a run in the Champions League was great. Declan Rice free kicks and Declan Rice throughout the whole season was great. Seeing Gabriel at the beginning of the season, he had a very fantastic time. Saka at the beginning of the season was great. But let's be honest, like from November all the way to the end of the season, we didn't enjoy too much, apart from the Champions League games and maybe Man City in the league and maybe one more game in the league. The only players who made it worth it were Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly, a couple of, apart from Rice and those others. Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly made last season worth it. And the way Lewis Skelly gets the ball and passes players in midfield and carries the ball forward and wins us so many fouls, even for England, when England played the other day, I think he was fouled like 3 or 4 times in one game. Like, he knows how to win free kicks. He knows how to take pressure away from your team. he's a midfielder who's playing as a left back, so he knows how to, control that midfield when he inverts. Fantastic player. He has to stay. Obviously, we have to give him a new contract for sure. And it's great to have youngsters developing. I mean, I think if Arsenal knew that Lewis Skelly was going to be this good, I don't think we'd have signed Calafiori. Maybe not. Although Calafiori is a centre back, I know that. But I think maybe that money could have been used elsewhere if we knew Lewis Skelly was going to be this good. Lewis Skelly has emerged so quickly, man. If you go to Arsenal's YouTube channel and you see the documentaries on Hell End, this guy was there like in 2023 or something, and he looked like a baby. Literally 1 year later, he was starting games for Arsenal. Impressive. Zinchenko. AC Milan made an inquiry for Ricardo Calafiori. AC Milan made an inquiry for... Wow. I saw a picture of Zinchenko and I just saved this post to do it on the live show. I didn't even read that first part. I didn't actually realize the AC Milan have made an inquiry for Ricardo Calafiori. Calafiori, I don't think is going to leave, but who are rebuffed by Arsenal, obviously. AC Milan are now pursuing a move for Alexander Zinchenko, and although his 200k a week plus wages are still a sticking point, they are ready to push to get the deal done. Wow, Zinchenko wants 200,000 per week. That's a lot of money. Now, those are the reasons why we might end up staying with players. Now, I still see a lot of people saying sell Kai Havertz. It is not going to happen because of very many reasons. As I told you guys, one, Arteta loves Havertz, so Havertz is not going to leave. Two, we signed Havertz for 65 million at this point less than 2 years ago. So right now, Arsenal are not going to want to make a loss on Havertz after 2 years. Unless someone is going to come and give us 65 million right now, that's the only way Arsenal might consider it. And number three, Havertz is getting paid close to 300,000 per week. I don't think there's anyone who's going to come and pay that. And why would Havertz want to leave when he's getting paid all that money at Arsenal? He's still young. Havertz is still very young in terms of age. He can just say, let me just stay at Arsenal until my contract is over. If Arsenal try to push him out, he can just stay. So Havertz is definitely not going to leave. 100%. Even next season is not going to leave. So just hope that it works whenever he plays. And Jesus obviously is not going to leave because of the injury. But Zinchenko, 200,000 per week. If AC Milan not able to pay that, then don't be surprised if Zinchenko stays next season because of those wages, and then he ends up leaving for free next season. I don't want us to lose players on a free. This is where now again I'm looking at barter. That is something we've never done well at all, losing players on a free. We've never been able to sell anyone. It's significant money. Look at Liverpool, the way they sold Coutinho. 100 million plus. Look at Chelsea, the way they sold Hazard, 100 million plus. Look at the way Tottenham sold Bale. We can go back in the days when United sold Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it was like 80 million or something around that. It's a lot of money. All those teams have been able to get a lot of money for their players over the years. What Arsenal have never sold anyone for more than 40 million, throughout our history. No, and not even a single player. Sanchez has left on a free. Ozil has left on a free. Ramsey had 2 very good seasons at Arsenal, ended up leaving on a free. Many others. Van Persie, he was like 20 million or something. Arsenal have never sold anyone. I think the most money we've gotten for players that we've sold, it's Willock and Ketty and Smith Rowe, 20s, 30s in terms of millions. That is quite low. So now the thing that I also want to change at Arsenal is when we sell players, we need to make a bit of money on them. Let's not start selling Zinchenko for 5 million. No, I'm tired of selling players like that for 5 million, for 6 million. Even Leno ended up leaving Arsenal for like 7 million. Why do we always have to lose players for very cheap? Like since Arsenal was formed, we never sold anyone for significant money, really. So that is something I'd want Barter to change. He sold Griezmann to Barcelona for 100 million. That is what we need to happen right now as well. If you can get players money like that for players, that is great. I mean, if he tells us Havertz is being sold today for 80 million and we get that kind of profit, we'll be like, okay, you're doing something right. Same with Zinchenko, same with even Kivio, and any other player that you're considering to sell. I'm not a fan of selling players after one season, but if today we are told, there's a team that wants Calafiori for 70 million or 80 million, we have to know how to do business to keep the ship sailing, obviously. So that's the latest on Zinchenko. Let's see if AC Milan are going to be able to get him. But as I've said at the beginning there, Riccardo Calafiori, AC Milan made an inquiry, but Arsenal are not going to sell Calafiori. I think Calafiori is a very good player. It's just the injuries, and I don't think he's the best fullback. I think he's an actual centre back, and he's very good going forward. Like, you can see Calafiori playing as a left winger 1 or 2 games, and he'd do perfectly okay. No problem. He can play in a back 3, probably no problem. So let's see how it goes with him. So that's it on Zinchenko and Lewis Skelly. A lot of news on the defenders today: Hato, Zinchenko, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, Nico Williams. I'm not confident you're going to get Nico Williams, but let's see. And then Gyokeres and Sesko as well. Who knows who you're going to get between the two? No one knows. Nico Williams, I'm not confident at all. It's always felt like Arsenal are not really going to pay that money for Nico Williams, those wages. So he's been our top target since last season, Nico Williams. So I don't know what is going to happen with him. But the transfer window is reopened today, so let's see how it's going to go. We're already now, okay, if you count, okay, we're 16 days into June, so at the start of July, players are coming back for preseason, so let's hope. Even Kepa, we've not signed him yet, so there's that too. We still don't have a backup goalkeeper. We've not yet signed or announced Zubimendi yet. That's another one. We still have to wait for the latest on Zubimendi. With all that said, hopefully the time we start announcing, we'll announce like 3 players in a week. Hopefully that is going to be the case, because we still don't know what is happening with Kepa, it's Zubimendi, all these guys. And I think we're going to sign Zubimendi and Kepa, but when are we going to announce them? Let me go to your comments. Let's see. Eggy says, Glenn, I told you Arsenal might not sign any of the players, Gyokeres and Sesko. I think we're going to sign none of them. I don't know which one, though. I thought things will change when Andrea Bata came, but it's business as usual. I want to believe Bata is the problem. I would say business as usual in terms of, being slow. But in terms of not deciding and all that, we have been told that that's how Bata does his business. He talks to several players before deciding. So I cannot say anything on Bata after 16 days. We have to give him at least until next month to see how he does his business. We can say that, and then at the end of the month, he sold Zinchenko for 40 million and he's bought Gyokeres for 50 million. So we have to see how it goes with them, Andrea Bata. Let them give us Rodrygo and we give them Skelly. No. What? I can't believe you actually just suggested that. That easily, Joseph? Wow, no, man. Lewis Skelly is not for sale. You don't sell players like that. Lewis Skelly, Nwaneri? Nah, you don't sell players like that, man. Even if you're going to give me Gyokeres and you tell me, like, get rid of Lewis Skelly, no, you don't get rid of players like that. That's in the next 2 years, a player like Lewis Skelly could be like the best left back in the world. You cannot get rid of players like that. Any other options? You can suggest a different player, but not Lewis Skelly. No. I actually can't believe you just say that. Oh my goodness. Get rid of Lewis Skelly and give us Rodrygo. Nah, I'm not that desperate for Rodrygo to get rid of Lewis Skelly. Definitely not. Whoever comes between them, I'm okay. I do agree that's Martin. I'm at a point where I just want a striker who can score goals. Arsenal not deciding, says Rajab. Yep, feels that way. Mark says I go for Gyokeres and Nico. So yeah, I put a poll in the chat if you're watching in a different platform. I asked if you had to sign 2, which one would you sign? Gyokeres and Nico Williams, or would you sign Sesko and Rodrygo between the two? Let's see. Mubarak says, Mr. Glenn, big up, sir. Nice seeing you here as always, Mubarak. While I request Andrea Bata to forgive Gyokeres because this still involved a lot of chaos. Yeah, I don't think it is his problem. Yeah, that doesn't really involve us as long as we end up getting the player. Even Trossard has had problems with the Brighton management. As long as he can get the player, that's all that matters. So hopefully the thing I can hope for is that if he's pushing for a move away, it makes it slightly easier. I think the one that is going to become easy is the one that we're going to get. I feel like that is where Arsenal have not decided. I think they wanted Sesko first before Gyokeres. But if Gyokeres ends up being cheaper, I think they're going to go for Gyokeres. I think this is also a case of Arsenal going for the one who's going to be cheaper. I think that is just it. I don't know why. If it's because we want to get a very expensive and quality winger and we have to save like 20 million in terms of the striker, and we end up getting, Rodrygo something, that is fine. But hopefully we don't end up not getting Gyokeres and Sesko, and then we also don't get Rodrygo. That would be even more disastrous if you didn't get any of the three. That would be terrible. And then if you add Nico Williams to that, Emmanuel is asking you, Joseph, if you're an Arsenal fan. Wow. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about suggesting to get rid of Lewis Skelly to bring in Rodrygo. No, absolutely not. Sesko and Rodrygo, yes, says Mubarak. Musanda says if Thomas was to stay, we will be okay in depth of the team. Yeah, I think he has to stay. If he leaves, we have to get two midfielders because Jorginho has already left. Unless we are planning to bring back Rice to midfield or something and sign a new attacking number 8 or something. Since our defense is the best, then Martin, Rice, and Thomas. Yeah, and then if you have Zubimendi, our defense is definitely the best. I do agree with that, especially if even when everyone is not fit. I mean, we were able to still play against teams like Real Madrid without players like Gabriel, half-fit Timber, half-fit Ben White, half-fit Calafiori, and we were still able to play all those teams. Our midfield will be unstoppable. Our midfield will be unstoppable if we get Zubimendi. I would have wanted an extra midfielder there. If you got someone like an Eze or Morgan Rogers plus Rice and Odegaard and all these guys, then I would say that hopefully we can see the Odegaard from 3 seasons ago. Does it mean we cannot get a good striker? What is really happening at Arsenal? I think we'll get one of them, but we're waiting to go for the one who's cheap. With need to get Sesko if possible. Gyokeres says Peter. Both of them. No, I don't think you're going to get. I mean, we said here. Fabrizio said this. Arsenal are working on both Gyokeres and Sesko. However, they will only sign one of them. So yeah, we're not going to get both of them. That is not going to be possible. Guess who says Iwobi sold for 40 million? Remember something like that, but I am pretty sure when you sold either Nketiah, I would say the top 3. I know Iwobi, we sold him to Everton for around that. I don't know if it reached 40 million. I have to confirm that though. I know Willock was sold for a lot of money. It's same with Nketiah, same with Smith Rowe. Let me say, I don't think it got to 40 million. That's what I thought. I also thought we bought Fabio Vieira for 40 million something, but if you convert it, it like becomes low. Yeah, I told you. Guess so. I told you. Arsenal received a fee of 28 million from Everton, with add-ons of 6 million, potential add-ons. So I don't know if you ever got that money. Iwobi is not sold for 40 million. Because if I remember correctly, is when we sold either Willock or Smith Rowe, we were told that we've just broken a record of selling a player. So yeah, we've never sold anyone for more than 40 million. Simon says, what is the problem with Skelly? Nothing. We have to offer them a new contracts. Right now, they don't have contracts, same in Waneri, so you have to give them new contracts. I think he will sign a new contract. Can Sesko not play on the left wing? He can, but John, to be honest, I want a proper left winger. If you watch teams like PSG play, you need a proper left wing. I don't want a striker playing as a left winger or a defender playing as a midfielder or a center back playing as a right winger. I don't want that anymore. You already do that too very many times. In our squad right now, Lewis Skelly is a midfielder who plays as a left back. Timber is a center back who plays as a right back. Calafiori is a center back who plays as a left back. Partey is a midfielder who sometimes plays as a right back. Sometimes Martinelli is a left winger who plays as a right winger. Maybe even Odegaard is a number 8 who plays as a number 10. So there's a lot of things. So we can't also add Sesko again and then play him as a left winger. No, I want a person who wants to play as a left winger, and they've been playing that position since they were kids. Players like who? Players like this player who wants to play as a left winger. Yeah, those are the players I want. Someone who can take on players, Give Madrid Zinchenko and add money to get Rodrygo. Now, that, Simon, that I can listen to. If you tell me, give Zinchenko plus the money and get Rodrygo, that I can understand. But Lewis Skelly, no, not Lewis Skelly. So the problem, though, with that, Simon, I can guarantee you that Real Madrid are not going to want Zinchenko. So, yeah, Real Madrid don't usually sign players like that. Real Madrid usually come for your best defender. Look at Trent, look at let's just best player. Even Rudiger from Chelsea, they usually go for your best player, not the one that you want to sell. when it comes to transfers, Arsenal will not sign any players that we have been hearing since. Hopefully, we do get a couple of them. Vincent, Joseph says, according to your analysis, which one can you choose between Sesko and Gyokeres? I've chosen Gyokeres since last year. That is my answer. Gyokeres for 100%. Again, as I said, even if he's been scoring those goals in Egypt or Angola or Bolivia, Australia, I don't care. He's been scoring those goals. Just want a striker who knows where the net is. Benjamin says Arsenal fans are not patient. The transfer window opened today, but they have already tied themselves apart. Gunners for life. Yeah, I understand. I understand both points of view. I'm not as what's the word? I don't like telling people they're impatient or whatever, because I understand why. You know, we are desperate to win something. We've not won something since Premier League since 2004. We've never won a Champions League. We've come so close. 1 point behind Man City 2 seasons ago. We were supposed to sign a striker that transfer window. And obviously people seeing Liverpool coming and winning trophies. And I think last season was like a very bitter pill to handle, Benjamin, because we saw Chelsea winning something, Tottenham winning something, Liverpool winning something, even Crystal Palace winning something, Newcastle winning something, the previous season Man U winning something, Man City winning a lot of things recently. So it gets a bit worrying, because you never know if next season we don't win something and then boom, Brighton win the FA Cup, Bournemouth win the Carabao Cup, and Chelsea come out of nowhere and win the league. All of a sudden, there's like 12 teams that have won something and you haven't. It becomes a bit stressing. But personally, for me, I feel the same way. I feel like, okay, so the transfer window just opened today. And we've brought Andrea Bata for a reason. He's signed a lot of good strikers before. I am going to give him time to sign the players. And that's how I'm feeling. I'm not panicking as of now, but I wouldn't tell anyone really to, which kind of Arsenal fan are you? Are you not patient? No, everyone has their own opinion in terms of that. Hopefully we do sign someone though. It's a bit desperate this time around. Please get us a new centre back, says Emmanuel. That would be my last signing though, not now. Mosey says, please, Odegaard needs a player who will compete with him next season like Rodgers. I would have wanted a player like Rodgers or Eze. Or if we don't sign anyone in that position, hopefully Nwaneri gets more chances. Because I've been watching Nwaneri again and again, highlights and all that. And I rewatched the Man City game the other day. The way the guy was just cutting in from that wing and shooting the ball, is not scared of shooting the ball at all. So I will consider that. But Sesko has more sell-on value. That is true, John. So that is how the team will look at it. So for us fans, we look at Gyokeres. We sign him today. We want a trophy today. But the team is also looking at that. If a player doesn't work out, can we sell him eventually? That is just how the team is looking at it, unfortunately, business-wise. So as we're not looking at it business-wise that much, we're looking at it like we want a player who's going to score goals today. Moses watching from Kenya. How about Watkins? Story Watkins, we were told that is like third option. So if we don't get Gyokeres and we also don't get Sesko, then it's going to be Watkins. But again, I wouldn't be happy if we got Watkins right now and didn't get Sesko and Gyokeres, because in January we were told we made a bid of 40 million for Watkins. Aston Villa wanted 60 million for him. We said no. We're not going to give you 60 million for Watkins. We are going to go for bigger strikers at the end of the season. So if you come back again and you sign Watkins, I'd be asking you, so why didn't you just sign Watkins in January so that we can try and win the Champions League or try and win the Carabao Cup or something? We might as well have just signed Watkins in January if that was going to be the case. We wouldn't have just waited, just have signed Watkins, and we would have had a striker by now. We would have had him for 4 or 5 months. You'd have even adapted to the Arsenal game. Would have been ready for next season. So if you don't sign your plan A or plan B in January, and then you come and sign him at the end of the season after missing out on Gyokeres and Sesko, it just wouldn't make sense at all. We just might have just signed him in January, because we threw away the rest of the season. That is just what happened. They felt like, okay, Liverpool are already like 10 points ahead of us. We're not going to catch up with them. Newcastle, they're 2-0 up against us. We're not going to turn that around. I don't think Arsenal expected to get to the semi-final of the Champions League. I think if you had to ask the board and the management and everyone, they would tell you, they probably told Arteta and everyone else that there's no need of signing any striker because, we're not going to win the Champions League. We're not going to win the Premier League. We're not win the Carabao Cup, and you're already out of the FA Cup. Let's just wait for next season. And then maybe it was a shock for all of them that we go to the semi-final of the Champions League. And maybe at that point, if you had to ask them, they would tell you, oh man, I wish you signed someone because we didn't know we were going to get this close. We were one game away from the Champions League final. And if you watch that game again, the PSG Arsenal games, man, Martinelli missed a big chance at home. Trossard missed a big chance at home, which was a very good save from Donnarumma. Odegaard had a very good shot saved away at PSG. Declan Rice had a clean header. Saka had an open goal against PSG as well. There was 8 chances against PSG in the 2 games that we didn't take. So, if you had Rodrygo there, if you had even Sesko there, let alone even Gyokeres, if you had Sesko there, we'd probably score a couple of those. So I think they would have regretted that we didn't get anyone at that point. Criswell says, apart from Nwaneri, I think Dauman will overtake Odegaard if he's given the opportunity. He's very young, though. He's 15. He's a truly a good player. I don't support signing. Yeah, I hope we do see Max next season a few times. And then hopefully Nwaneri gets more opportunities. Not even just because Odegaard didn't play well last season. I don't want us to play Odegaard every game, Saka every game, Gabriel every game, Rice every game. No. It's okay to rest a few players, few games here and there. Like if you see Man City, sometimes we don't see. I know they rested Rodri for like a month before he got injured, so that was bad luck in their on their side. But Guardiola actually didn't play Rodri for like 6 games at the beginning of last season because he had just played the Euros. He was resting him until the Arsenal game, and then he got an injury. So that was bad luck on their side. But that is what I want us to do sometimes. Sometimes you never saw Mahrez for 1 month. You never saw Foden for 1 month because they're being rested, There's no problem with when you're playing. If you have, speaking of the fixtures are coming out on Wednesday. Today is Monday, so Wednesday, you're going to get to know who you're playing in the Premier League. And as I said last time, there's no joking around with the fixtures. You cannot say, okay, fine, as long as we start winning games in September. No, you have to win from the first game. The first 10 games, you have to win 9. To compete with Liverpool and Man City, you literally have to win 9 out of the first 10. Whether we have Sunderland, whether we have, Burnley, whether we are playing Man City or Tottenham or Aston Villa, you just have to win your game. So last season we started okay, beating Aston Villa, Wolves, Tottenham, drawing with Man City, 10 and all that, but you need to win games. Now, what I want to see next season is if you're playing, a Chelsea today and then a Burnley in midweek and then a Tottenham on the weekend, you don't have to play Gabriel in all 3 games. You don't have to play Saliba in all 3 games. You don't have to play Rice in all 3 games. Or if you play them in all 3 games, players like Rice don't have to play for 90 minutes, especially if you're already 2-0 up, especially in the Carabao Cup. Last season, Rice was starting games against Bolton. That is what I don't want to see. That is because we didn't have enough players. Make sure we have enough players this time. Watching you from Zambia. Thank you, Calvin. We want Gyokeres. Please bring in Max to the senior team. Says Mimanu, we were told he's going to get a few opportunities next season. I don't think he's going to play in the Premier League, though. Maybe in the Carabao Cup. Arsenal need to sign players early so that they develop chemistry among players. We don't want to have a poor start to this season. We used to do that a lot back in the day. That is one thing I used to dislike about Arsenal, the thing about signing players on the last day. I usually go back to 2012. That is a good 2011. That is a good example. The way we signed Matasaka and Ateta and all these guys on the final day. You don't get time to blend in with the team, and it's already 4 games into the season. Man, we used to do that a lot. We used to wait until we lost to the first 2 games. There's a time we lost to West Ham in the first game of the season. There's a time we lost to Aston Villa first game of the season. There's a time we lost to Liverpool, I think, at the Emirates first game of the season. I remember Mane destroyed us. I don't want that. I don't want us to wait until we lose the first 2 games of the season and then we're rushing to buy players. At that point, you're already 6 points behind Man City, and you're not going to catch up with that. Henry says, I'm tired of Arsenal transfers because they never get finished. Now the deal of Zubimendi is not yet materialized, and now no striker. Although Dauman is young, he's so talented. I think he can take Odegaard position, says Mose. Then who published it out that Arsenal frozen the deal of Viktor? Yeah, I saw that as well. That came from a Portuguese outlet. I support Galatasaray. Can we please have Ethan on loan? You support Galatasaray, okay? You can we please have Ethan on loan? No, thank you. We can. Is there a player we can give you on loan? Nah, we can give you Setford on loan for a year. He needs to play some games. Ethan on Lewis Skelly, not I'm going to leave. But yeah, you took Sunny though. You took Sunny. There's a lot of Arsenal fans who didn't want Sunny. Let's see. I missed a few comments here. Vortex says, honestly, I wish Arsenal signs Sesko over others. This guy is in a good team like us, so he will explode to a monster. Yeah, I do think he'll score goals, but did you use the like Arsenal, he will explode? Okay, it's good that you said he will explode. There's some people who said, I think he will explode. So the moment you say you think, that means you're not sure. So let's see which guys you guys voted for. So 58% have said they prefer Gyokeres and Nico, and 42% Sesko and Rodrygo. So not that much of a gap, but I guess the one that is pushing there is Gyokeres, and Gyokeres, that's the one that is making people vote for that much. I wanted to have a Gyokeres Rodrygo one, but I knew people would just go for Gyokeres Rodrygo. We'll give you Icardi. Nah, Icardi has too much drama. The same Icardi that has the drama with his sister and all those guys. Nah, Icardi has too much. He's a good striker, though. Good striker. You give us. I know you don't own Osimhen, but you can give us Osimhen. You can also. Yeah, if you give us Osimhen and Icardi, both of them, it's okay. You also have Torreira, right? You can send back Torreira if you want. So yeah, that's the latest transfer news for today. Let's hope we do get the transfers reopened today. So let's hope that we get more news. Yeah, it feels like every time you go online, you find someone else has been signed by someone. Brighton have signed a player. Crystal Palace have signed a player. Chelsea have signed a player. Liverpool have signed a player. So let's hope we also start making. Let's hope by the time next month we look at this, we're like, oh, Gyokeres is an Arsenal player, or maybe even both of them. That would be fantastic. Rodrygo and all these guys, and we'll be happy, hopefully. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.